Hello and welcome to That Pedal Show VCQ. Dan here.
Mick here. Hello, welcome. Looks a bit different this week, Dan.
It does for many reasons.
As you'll see, well, why is this? A few people have been moaning about how the studio looks.
Yeah.
Saying it's too dark, and you've taken it to heart, haven't you?
I have.
Said it's too dark, it's too gloomy, it's too depressing. So for everyone who said, it's too dark, it's too gloomy, it's too depressing, we've decided to have a change up.
Yes.
Because there's an important milestone arriving.
There is.
Which is?
We're knocking on 200,000 subscribers.
Amazing.
Woo!
So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so and help us towards that 200,000. It's just a number. Doesn't really mean anything.
No.
Might mean a bit more Google ad money, which would be nice.
Wouldn't hurt.
Pay for all this.
Yeah.
So anyway, I came in a fit of enthusiasm on Saturday morning and just took the old background down. Actually, I might do some detail shots so you can see where we are. The old background has come down and is now on the sides. We've built new shelves and the back wall is not going to be red. That red was always there. It was behind the grey background. Mm-hmm. It's an old stage curtain. And instead we're going to have a new background.
Yes. Just going to be lighter and brighter.
Lighter.
And lovely.
Yeah, lighter and a bit more friendly feeling.
Yeah.
Hopefully. On the subject of friends.
On the subject of friends, our dear friend Mr. Joey Landreth,
I have no idea where the horn is because everything is under a pile of building materials. So, yeah, honk, Joey.
Honk.
You know what we're missing, Dan? Missing the spotlights. The spotlights are important.
They are very important.
That's better, isn't it?
It's much better.
Yeah.
So Joey was on the show last week, and there was a general overriding theme. Joey is ace. Marcus Bruin, John Channing, Matthias, Christoph Fully, in Raglan Lines, Mark Ayres, Sven Bruce, and just everyone. Yes.
So hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments. Thank you, saying how amazing Joey is and what a fun show it was, and indeed it was. We were very blessed to have him on. And
it's always so inspiring.
Yeah. Just
to sit down with him and just get a glimpse into how he achieves what he does. And I mean, he's the best guy.
Bonkers,
he's the best guy, but oh man.
It's totally bonkers.
Totally bonkers. Anyway, we love Joey.
We do.
Obviously.
Jack Otis wishes to take issue, of course.
Right.
Joey makes a comment part of the way through. I'm asking him about how he changes his tuning to that open E intervals, but the bottom string is down to C, so it's open E down 2 full steps. And Joey says, it's okay, I can play in all 12 keys. Jack Otis says, yo, Joey, there's more than just 12 keys to play in.
I knew there's going to be one. Yeah. Minor and major.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't think Joey would have a problem in playing in any key that you would care to throw at him.
No.
Unless it was some crazy key that's not crazy. Unless it's some key that's not rooted in Western half tone steps.
Yeah.
Microtonal stuff.
Yeah, right. Even then, though, just put the slide on.
He'd be all right.
He'd be fine. Right, Trey Douglas says, Dan and Mick, is there any possibility of having an audio-only version? I think it would translate well and be great for those of us who have jobs that allow us to listen while we work. Love from Kansas. Yes, Trey, we do a podcast.
We do a podcast. It's available on iTunes and it's also available on the Podbean platform. A lot of people will want it available on Spotify and other platforms. I don't know. Spotify can go hang as far as I'm concerned. The way they treat their artists, the money they give to artists is just risible.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for my political interjection there, but I don't like Spotify. Sorry. I don't really like iTunes, to be fair, because that's rubbish as well for paying artists. But hey. You can listen to a podcast. It's available on 2 very popular platforms, at least 2 very popular platforms. And it's free currently. It might not always be, but it is currently.
Yes.
Because we need to pay for this. There was a general theme arising about the count to 5 pedal.
Okay.
Montreal, whatever it was called.
Yes.
You remember?
I remember the pedal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lots of people really picked up on that, including Levi Stein, Radio Diffusion Française,
Nice.
John Cortez, Brad Ruffel, and Dennis Surrett, among many others, saying how cool it was to see such a pedal on that pedal show, because we tend not to do that kind of thing. And Joey's real creative use of it.
You got to go and see him live to actually see. I mean, you know, we got a glimpse of that there, but if you get a chance to go and see him live and see how he creates this atmosphere with those sounds,
Yeah.
incredible.
And it's sort of, it Dan and I spoke about this morning because we had our Empress Zoya turn up, also mentioned by Peter Jessup, who says, nice to see Joey creating some textures and soundscapes. The count to 5 is awesome. I might have to try and build that on my Empress Zoya. I think people might have already built similar patches. So we should get into that, right?
Yeah. I'm in, baby.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I did a bit of a joke video a week or so ago because we didn't have a Friday show. We had a problem with the edit, and I just stood there and made some noise with the Jazzmaster, and lots of people said really nice things, that it was creative.
It was so good. It was so good.
It's really fun.
It's not a dream. It's just a dream.
I need to change my view on it, because I'm just messing about thinking this isn't music, it's just noise. But of course, lots of people...
That was great.
That's what lots of people do.
Yeah, that was
so
wonderful.
Maybe we do a bit more of that. And then finally on that subject, Diax1324 says, this guy, Joey, using the Therme and the count to 5. Take that, Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah, nice. Look, it's all valid.
It is all valid.
It's all valid.
Joe's gone back to using his Dumble, and I suspect there's going to be a pedal or two on his next... Dumbles. On his next pedal board. Maybe he'll finally come on that pedal show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Justin Garcia says, that room sound pedal rig is genius. I need that as a standalone effect now. Maybe the Strymon Deco. At any rate, it's great. Thank you, Justin.
I was confused, a little bit confused. So he's got the separate daughter board.
Yep.
And he's using the 2 notes for a mic'd sound, to create the mic'd sound.
So the 2 notes is that specific reverb. Right, all the 2 notes is doing
is just the room reverb.
Just that room reverb.
Because it's a room reverb, as you would get as if the mics were a long way away.
Yeah.
So my question is, why not just the reverb?
Because that particular reverb also had this pre-delay in it that pedal didn't have. So the 2 notes didn't have the pre-delay.
Yeah.
The 2 notes had the sound of the room, but it didn't have the pre-delay that Joe was getting. So what he did was he used the flashback to do the pre-delay.
Yeah.
And then that would hit the reverb.
So why not just use any other reverb? Why use the 2 notes?
Because it was that specific
room sound.
He was so specific about that particular room sound.
So it's a room sound with 100% wet pre-delay.
Yes. So exactly. The 100% pre-delay, and then he put that in the wetter box, and then would blend that in. And then what would happen is, when he just wanted to have the reverb without the pre-delay, he'd turn the delay pedal off, and then just use it as blending in that room sound. So that's how he did it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I went
great.
to a little jam session yesterday in my dad's hometown, and was messing around with super short delays, not in exactly the same way,
Right.
but in a roomy kind of bathroomy 50s-y kind of way. It does sound very cool.
Yeah.
It does sound very cool. If you don't do that, have a go with short delays. Revenant 235 says, this was so human, the realities of touring and being tired and needing to reconnect with inspiration. This is, I wager, the whole point of this show, and pedals in general, keeping it fresh, bringing the joy.
Nice. That's awesome.
I love that.
That's lovely.
That ties into the whole there are no answers, only better questions.
Yeah, perfect.
About being inspired by sound. So thank you for making that comment, Revenant 235.
Lucid Extract says, I'm really curious about the playing that Joey did at the end of the vid. Are these chords even possible in standard tuning?
I love this, because the first time you hear Joey play, that is the exact reaction you have if you don't have some basic understanding of what he's doing. What is he doing, Dan?
Well, because he's playing, it's a open tuning in drop C, but then because he understands how chords are made up, he's using that knowledge with, the one thing he says about the open voicing, he says he loves the things that he gains, but he was missing the things that he lost from having the standard tuning. So he worked really hard to bring all that knowledge to that open tuning, and that's what he's doing.
So yes, the chords are absolutely possible on a standard tune guitar, except for all the notes that are below E. And what happens when you tune the whole guitar down is you get a different kind of the guitar takes on a different voice.
Yeah.
So the notes are the same, the chords are absolutely possible to play on a standard tuning, but the sound of it is different because of the way the chords are made up. But totally right, what Dan just said. All it is deep chord and harmonic knowledge, and using the basic structure of chords. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, etc., and all the others in between, and putting them together in ways that are musical. It's all diatonic though, isn't it? At the end of the day,
it's diatonic, but it modulates everywhere. So he will go from, every second, third chords in a different key. So he's just continuously modulating and can take that anywhere. So but it's all based on diatonic harmony.
And jazzers won't be surprised by that. If you're schooled in jazz, you won't be surprised by any of that. But us rock and rollers who only ever learned, E-shaped bar chords and A-shaped bar chords, to us it sounds like
magic.
Yeah. I did have the luxury, as you did, getting a couple lessons off Joey, and even just that using your start with major triads on the B, G and D strings, and learn your 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 1, 5, 1, 3 inversions. Same chord, just notes in a different order in 3 positions. All of a sudden, the world goes.
That's also a Robin Ford thing. When I did the clinic, Robin Ford, he did exactly the same thing. With just changing those inversions. And
I found myself having Joey explain this 3rd time now, and me still not quite getting it. He drew out a little piece of paper and said, "Here, I'll work on this." And then I found myself at this little jam thing I did yesterday, going, you know what? Instead of playing 1, 4, 5, I'm going to play 1, 4, 5.
Nice.
And I played it all in just that one position, thinking about my inversions. And I did it absolutely based on what he'd told me.
Awesome.
And they were all chords that I knew and I would play all the time, but I didn't know why I was playing them. And I just see these doors opening, going,
there you go.
Okay, these are just major chords.
There you go.
What happens now when we do minor chords?
Yeah, right.
And then all the others.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, I was at the end of the video we shot with Joey. I filmed part of the series, this practice.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of we went quite deep in that, but there's a lot more information that coming up.
Yeah.
Actually, we're going to Germany this week.
We are.
And I'm very much looking forward to getting a bit more of this done while I'm over there.
Having some time, yeah. We're going to Thomanns Gear University. Thomann, the huge German retailer, puts on this thing every year where a bunch of people turn up. I think Pete Thorne's going, Mary Spender.
We did it last year and it was so good.
Amazing bass guy, Adam Neely. So we're just going to go and hang out for a few days and have that luxury of doing that. So that should be good fun.
Brilliant. Right, here we go. So adding to the last comment, Mark O'Connor says, is the music Joey playing at the end an original tune, a jazz standard, or just him riffing in the moment? Whatever it is, it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you for another wonderful video. It's just him, just exploring. This is the thing that knowledge gives you.
Yeah.
It just means that you have options. From anywhere you are, you have options to go other places.
I've often said in videos that I'm harmonically, and then I've used a word that we can't use anymore because it's offensive, but I'm harmonically challenged. And that's exactly what Joey isn't.
There you go.
Because he's just connected the dots. And it is literally that. It's connecting the dots and then putting the practice in enough to be
so that it becomes a reflex.
Connect them without thinking about it.
Perfect. Damon Castillo says, great episode. What microphone on the 2-Rock?
We've, for a little while now, we've been gravitating towards, for ages, we've always used a 2-mic setup. So in the beginning, it was a dynamic and maybe a dynamic and a small diaphragm condenser. We then discovered the Royal 121, which is just unbelievable, but for two reasons didn't go the Royal route. One was they're just too expensive,
Really crazy
for us to justify at this point in our lives. Secondly, I heard the Sontronics Delta ribbon, which we'd been using for ages, and then they did a Mark II version. Heard it, put it on the amps, and there are some things that I prefer about the Delta.
That's awesome.
So you were hearing a simplified setup there. There was two of those Sontronics Delta 2 ribbon microphones, and they go right in the centre of the speaker.
Really?
And they are absolutely flat right across the frequency range.
Wow.
But only for guitars, flat for guitars across a guitar's frequency range. You know, you wouldn't necessarily. They're perfect for electric guitar cabinets.
Right.
And then there's just one on the 2-rock, one on the Rev, our usual room mic setup, and that's that.
Awesome.
Neve 1073 preamps in the Universal Audio Apollo 8P. Hardly any EQ, maybe roll off a bit of bottom end because there's so much bottom end, but that's it.
Amazing.
No tomfoolery.
Amazing.
Right, I'm pleased about this, Dan. We can finally put the capo pronunciation to bed. It is emphatically not capo, right? So many people of Italian origin have said it is capo.
Someone actually sent us a voice message.
Did they?
With the pronunciation of...
Yeah. And Americans, if you feel bad about this, every time I say Mesa and you yell in capitals, it's Mesa. It's the same thing, except the other way around. The correct pronunciation of Mesa is Mesa. The correct pronunciation of capo is capo. It's not capo. Sorry. And Luciano De Gennaro, and he should know, right? Says the A is just the same as you say in pizza.
Pizza. Ah,
Capo.
nice. Capo.
Except you don't. It's not capo. It's capo. There we are. So if you're saying capo, you're wrong.
Right. Jesse Liette and Dan Peabody says, what type of... What type of capo is he using there?
Because a capo is what Batman wears, isn't it?
It is. But who would be so silly to wear a capo?
I know, who would? In fact, Alex Sorokin replied to this. Sorokin, the guitar. Sorokin, here we are again.
Oh, that's his... Yeah.
We're going to get picked up on every pronunciation here. It's a Page capo, Paige, apparently.
Right.
And on the subject of the Sorokin, apologies for not knowing that.
That's the guitar that Joey, the Les Paul shaped guitar that Joey had. And just, wow. What an instrument.
Tim Hereabout says, you guys mentioned something about just playing one guitar, and we're going to come back to it, and we never did. Apologies. Any chance of summarising that thought here or in the Q&A vid? The reason I mentioned it was purely that Joey was going on a whole tour just taking one guitar.
Yeah.
For all that massive variance in tone that he gets. He did pick up a second guitar, I think a few dates in, just in case.
Okay.
But as far as I'm aware, he didn't play it.
Right.
And I just think that focus of one instrument, one intention, being completely at one with it, that was really the only point I was going to make about that.
Yeah.
Tim?
I mean, I did it for years. I just played Red for years and years and years. And it is, I built my whole rig around the sound of that guitar. And then when you start using other guitars, it's like, well, actually, if I built my rig around this, I wouldn't have made these particular choices. So it's a very interesting thing, being able to do everything on just one guitar.
There's another question that coming up about that in a while, actually.
Okay.
Lucas Zembrzuski. Wait, those are P90s. Where is the hum?
Good power. Good amps. The thing with P90s is, yes, they are probably the most notorious for hum.
There was plenty of hum.
There was plenty of hum, actually. Come and think about it.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, if you listen to the guitar and there are times you hear it in this where it's compressed, sorry. But in the amplifiers, when you're just hearing the the recorded sound of the amplifiers. It's because the guitar is so much louder than the hum, it doesn't come across.
And what Dan said, the more you do it, the more you get used to just physically
Adjusting.
orientating yourself. You get used to rolling the volume control off. So it's all there. And I'll say again, I think it's a hugely important part of the sound with vintage guitars to have all that noise and all that other crap in there.
The subject of pots came up. IM says that all pots were 500k on vintage Gibsons with P90s, but K Drake 77 says 500k on the volume and 250 on the tone in original gold tops. Interesting.
Yes. Who knows? Could well have been both. I tell you who will know is Alex Sorokin.
Yeah.
So if you want to comment there, Alex, and you may already have done so, apologies if we'd missed that, but a few people said it was 500k on the volume, 250 on the tone, and some other people have said no, all 500. As is always the case with vintage stuff, they probably use what they had, and if they didn't have some things on a certain day, they probably use something else.
Yeah.
Maybe. Speculation. Omega the Unknown.
Omega the Unknown.
Oh, yes. Omega the Unknown 67. I should put spaces in when I do this.
No, please don't. It's brilliant.
Omega the Unknown 67. How is Joey changing presets on the Chase Bliss tonal recall with the switcher being the G2? I point to Dan because he makes it. As far as I know, this can only be done by flipping the switch on the pedal or using the fave switch or MIDI to do it remotely. Dan, how is Joey changing the presets on the Chase Bliss tonal recall and all the other MIDI things on his board?
M1D1 to the rescue. MIDI. When he presses a preset on G2, it's sending a MIDI program patch change message, and that goes out to a splitter that then goes to all of his MIDI devices.
The Judean People's Front.
The Judean
Or the
People's
Front of Judea.
Splitter. Oh, okay. That's got to be a splitting device. Has got to be called the Judean People's Front. That is genius.
If anyone hasn't seen Monty Python's The Life of Brian, that's what we're talking about there.
Wonderful. Yeah, just done with MIDI. It's all...
Yeah, just to make that point, G2 controls. What does the quartz do? Because there was an extra quartz box.
So what the quartz does, it will hit the quartz first, and then he can send out all manner of crazy MIDI messaging through the quartz, and also the quartz gives a visual representation of, he can name presets and things like that. He knows what's going on.
But just to make
is very clever.
Point, you don't actually have to have a quartz if you just want to use G2 to change a bunch of stuff using MIDI.
Yeah, you can just go in and out. And
as long as so G2's only got one MIDI out, right? So it would have to go into a pedal to another pedal.
Yes, but the thing with the Chase Bliss pedals is there's no MIDI out, there's only MIDI in.
Oh.
So, and it uses a TRS jack as opposed to a MIDI connector. But they do a very cool Judean People's Front MIDI box. So the MIDI signal goes in, and then it gets split and goes out through TRS connectors.
So you do need that.
So it's handy to have that. If you want to change a bunch of them like Joey is, yeah. It's all clever. PJSGBC. Now, do you know what that stands for?
Okay. Serial commenter on
yes.
TPS. Thank you very much.
I thought I knew what that stands for. Anyway.
Peter Jones, Serious Guitar and Bath Company.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Don't put your amp in the bath.
Wow, just wow. VCQ question. Connecting Joey's comments about staying inspired to Mick's vlog comments a while back about mild depression. Maybe you guys could do both in the VCQ. Offer your own thoughts about how you find ways to stay encouraged to play. I struggle with this a lot as I feel so limited by my abilities and time. So pertinent. Would love even just a quick thought. Looper pedal has helped me tremendously. So do episodes like this. Also, for anyone who thinks a musician should not get tired or discouraged, at some point you've probably thought you could get not tired of things that make you tired now.
Familiarity breeding contempt, I think, is what's picking up.
I appreciate Joey's candor there. Thanks, guys. That's so So interesting.
That's why I put it in. I think it's a really important question for us all because I think anyone listening to that will strike a chord with absolutely all of us. How do you stay inspired, Dan?
How do I stay inspired? Playing guitar for me, I've never had a problem of not wanting to sit down and play guitar. My whole issue has been time. So I get frustrated by not having enough time. So what I've had to do is work out ways to make the time that I do have count.
Right.
Because
Interesting.
I get 10 minutes here and there and find myself not progressing for a long time. So I was like, okay, I've got to focus. And instead of just sitting down and noodling, I'm going to work on things that I don't know how to do. And that's because I love that exploration thing. The other big thing for me, though, is sound. If my sound is not inspiring me, I sound like a big pile of doo-doo. So it's very important to me that when I'm practicing, I am connecting with the sound. And there's a brief demonstration of that on my practice vlog that I did a while ago. So yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, so sound and then doing other things. Yeah, one thing that works every single time for me is playing with other people.
Yes,
which is not.
Yes.
Like I say, did this little thing yesterday. Turned out a bunch of guys. Nobody knew one another. We played a load of we played Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers. We played few classic Stones tunes, that nobody really knew. All the standard pub rock classics. I even did a reggae set with some really great guys that I met for the first time. Just literally playing, on the upbeat and whatever that is. Got me delayed right in. Did the old Bob Marley on the wah wah for the solos and stuff.
Brilliant.
And it was totally out of comfort zone, totally not in any way. There was no pretense, there was no ego. It was just a bunch of people having fun and smiling. Everyone was smiling through the whole thing. And
Brilliant.
It always works, even if it's, ramshackle and just a bit of fun. And that absolutely always, without fail, works for me.
Brilliant.
When it doesn't work is when everyone's too cool for school.
Yep.
And trying to kick each other in the balls with all their favourite licks. That doesn't work quite so much for me. I'd rather it just be a musical experience. And then I'm where it sounds like you are at the moment. I got to a point with guitar where I wanted to stop playing and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I bought a piano and some books on how to learn to read music. There's going to be a vlog on that upcoming.
That's amazing. Honestly, I was so pleased you did that.
Yeah.
Piano was the one instrument I regretted I never learned as a child.
I don't think I'm ever going to be a reasonable piano player. I don't think that's going to happen. The reason I want it is to learn how to play the guitar, which might sound like a complete paradox.
Well, no, because what you're doing is you're taking away the familiarity.
Yeah.
And you're just focusing on the music.
Yeah.
Or like my favourite guitar players are also piano players. Dave Gregory, amazing piano player.
No way.
Neil Finn,
Stevie
amazing
Ray Vaughan.
piano player. Stevie Ray Vaughan, did he play piano?
Not as far as I'm
Right,
aware.
okay. Actually,
But he did.
yeah, okay.
But he could knock out
Anyway,
a good Fats Domino.
um,
One thing I would say about learning how to play the piano, or at least playing the piano, I reckon it took me 5 years to get a good note out of a guitar.
right.
There it is. A good note. End of week 2, you can get a reasonable note out of a piano.
Right. Interesting.
5 years, I reckon, to get a properly good note out of a guitar. Playing the guitar is so hard. So, PGSGBC, give yourself a break.
That is actually really interesting. I think what you understand as being a good note. I mean, I remember when I first started playing and I had the loads of nonsense going on at the same time as far as sound is concerned. And I would have known the difference between a good and a bad note if it had smacked me in the face.
Yeah.
However, the deeper that you get into, it's like anything else, the deeper that you get into it, I mean, 1 year in, you would have been sat on the guitar going, this isn't the note I'm looking for.
No.
You would have been going, cool.
Awesome. I can play the notes to Highway to Hell.
There you go.
But I can't play Highway to Hell.
But 5 years down the track, you would have been discovering things on this journey, and then discovering that getting the right amount of pressure and the right amount of pick attack and a certain way that you hold the guitar and the sort of amount of vibrato, and then you would have gone and a light bulb moment, there it is. So it's not like you're going to pick up the guitar and go, I'm going to suck at this for 5 years.
No.
It's a journey. The more you know, the more there is to know.
Exactly, because 35 years down the track, I'm still going, still working on this good note thing.
Yeah.
Still working on that.
Yep.
Oh, right, we need to hurry up, Dan.
Okay,
Otherwise
sorry.
This is going to be an hour long.
Yeah, Dominic Gammon says, do you guys ever have issues with travelling with pedal boards? I feel like airport security will want to dismantle it all and confiscate all the wiring and connections. It depends on the sort of board. When we've travelled to the States and to Germany and stuff with our big boards, what I would do is I would put it in my large bag and pack clothes and things around it. 90% of the time, no problem, but there has been times that airport security have called me up and we just took the lid off and showed them what it was.
Yeah, explain.
And it's not been an issue. I did a really impulsive thing and went to see Doyle Bramall on Thursday. Oh yeah, man! So cool.
In Hamburg, in Germany, and met up with went with Damo, our strings guy who does Kurt Mangan strings. I had a wonderful time when we met Dan Drive.
Oh right.
Yeah, so we had Joey's Dan Drive pedal on the show on last Friday. The fuzz that was all the way on the right hand side as you look at the pedal cam, and then completely serendipitously,
he was there.
Damo was going to meet Dan because Dan was going to meet Doyle and show him some pedals.
Did you meet Doyle?
Did meet Doyle, yeah. I met him before. Honk. What an awesome guy. Anyway, the reason for saying that is twofold. One is I came back with one of Dan's pedals.
Wow.
I was like,
this is awesome.
Can you make me one that sounds literally exactly like that? Like if you put another one together with components, will it sound exactly like that? And he's like, yeah. Anyway, next day he said, look, if you want this one, you can take it and give me some feedback and
oh, fantastic.
all the rest of it. So,
awesome.
Apologies to everyone on the Dan Drive wait list. But I'm going to give him some feedback and whatever. But it's such a cool pedal. We'll get it on the show. And secondly, Doyle knows how to make a note.
Oh yeah,
man! It was like Joey on in a sort of different way, and just a totally inspiring connection. Mean every note.
Yeah, just honest and
I blooming love Doyle Bramall.
Yeah,
2 the second.
Amazing.
Sorry, there's me saying we got to hurry up, and I'm waxing lyrical. I had the pedal in my bag coming back through security, and the bag gets pulled off to the side as it does, and the lady pulls, says open the bag and pull the pedal out. She says, "What's this?" So it's a guitar effects pedal.
Did you take half an hour explaining to her? Well,
yeah. Thing is,
it's two different sorts of transistors in it.
It's got 2 silicon, 2 germanium transistors, and you can have them in either. She's like, "Oh, guitar effects pedal. You play guitar?" I said, "Well, yeah, a little bit." She's like, "Cool, off you go." So
nice,
yeah.
Very good. 5 Shoes says Dan Mick, in the spirit of us Canucks, which is Canadians,
I guess, yeah.
Would love to know your thoughts on Traynor amplifiers. One of the reasons I ask is debating getting one of their tube amps as a pedal platform versus a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe or a PV Classic. Yes, there's a Traynor amplifier that is legendary as far as being a pedal platform. I have not played it.
No.
Because they're not
really available
places.
in I don't know about Europe, but in the UK, very hard to find Traynor amps. I don't think anyone brings them in.
I was at NAMM a couple of years ago, and there was a Traynor amp sign. Couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
But I too am very interested in Traynor amplifiers.
Yep. I think I played one years ago. In fact, I had one for a minute. I bought it second hand, and it just reminded me of like a Fender type amp, loud and clean and really good. But yeah. WGB 01001. That's probably binary, is it?
Binary solo.
Yeah.
Binary solo. 001, 0001, 1000. Anyway.
There's quite a lot of music that sounds like that to me, to be fair. Hey, fellas. Humble request for future shows. You always do such a great job of explaining the gear you use on each show. For example, pickup, signal chain, pedal settings and all that. But you rarely state the settings you have for each amp. I'm always finding myself curious as to where the EQ settings are on the amps because that can have such a huge effect on how pedals react. Are the mids flat or pushed, etc. Maybe just a quick bass on 4, mids at 5, treble on 6, or whatever you play at each amp's dry tone at the beginning. Thank you both, and cheers from New England here in the States. Jerry. Yes, we kind of should do that. We should say where they are set. However, the reason we don't is because it always changes and it never changes. The paradox of which is you just set the amp to where it's most open.
Yeah.
And if you're worrying about it too much, it's a bit like EQ. If you're recording, if you find yourself tweaking too much, stop and start again. Because if you're like, it's too much, the amp just needs to be open. It needs to be not too bassy, not too middly, not too trebly. It just needs to be able to react to whatever you're going to do it. And on a Fender amp, that usually means bass on about 3 or 4. It usually means middle in the middle, and it usually means treble slightly past the middle. For me, that's how I set pretty much all of my amps except for Plexis, where the treble is almost always off.
Yeah.
And the middle is high and the bass is low.
Right.
In the Robin Trowell way.
Nice.
Dan, anything to add?
Well, there's the Matt Schofield method, and I sort of been instinctively doing that.
Yeah.
After that point, but Matt, he sort of brought it into focus, where he was saying, as far as EQ is concerned, you set it where it does, to the point where it does the most difference.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's like, as soon as it comes on, it's like, yeah, well, that's where it is, and that's where I find the sweet spot is.
Yeah. And then when you play live, what you normally find is you usually have to dial in more treble and turn the bass down. Yeah. Because that's what gets you cut in that environment. I'm actually loving my 2-rock at the moment with the EQ switched out, bypassed.
Oh, nice.
And that's just, it's just open. And it does, if I do that, it goes, oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Magic. Right. JVD Dick. JV Dick. Okay, thank you. I'm a Strat player who recently got a Les Paul, but I don't like my overdrive pedals that I use for my Strat with the Les Paul. I have no idea what overdrive are suitable for the Les Paul, so the pickups are more sensitive to impedance. What are you looking for in your setup? For example, is it pedals that work for all your guitars, or do you use different pedals with different guitars?
Great question.
Yeah. I don't see myself gigging with both guitars and swapping between songs. How do you guys do this? It took me 4 years to find my Les Paul, because I had my telly, and that was a sound I loved. I loved the sound of Les Pauls, but it had to work with my rig. So I needed to find a Les Paul that had cuts. It still sounded like a Les Paul, but it still had that treble content. And it wasn't until I played Paul Stacey's Les Paul that he sold to me,
Honk.
that had those OX4 pickups in it, those really low output, those PAF type things. And so I can swap those guitars with no problem, and it sounds like a Les Paul, but it still has cut and everything. Yeah. If you have wildly different outputs and wildly different EQs, then it's going to be tricky.
Yeah. And it might be that if you have a pedal board with space for a few things, you might have, one overdrive that's very specifically right for the Strat. Yep. But then when you try the Les Paul, you need something different. And
Josh Smith has that pedal.
Yeah.
That only ever uses for his Strat.
Yeah.
The
Kingtone.
The Kingtone.
Duelist, yeah. He doesn't use it on his telly. What would I say? So if, as a general rule, if you're using something with quite a lot of compression and gain on a Strat, so for example, if you have a Tube Screamer that's fairly well cranked, it works brilliantly with the Strat in terms of the Strat's EQ curve, and it gives you some nice compression and everything. Stick a Les Paul or a 335 into that, and it just goes to mush.
Yeah, because it's just, there's no more headroom left in the pedal.
Yeah, and the guitar just feels spongy, and I mean, it could be a really cool sound. You might love it, but it doesn't react the same, and probably relates to what you're talking about, JV Dick. I had it yesterday in the little jam thing again, where I stuck on the 335 after I'd been playing the Strat, and the Tube Screamer was just too squashy, so I turned the overdrive down and the volume up. Problem solved. But going back to what we were talking about with the amp settings, if you have your amp set open, in the way that we were just describing, you'll find that switching between guitars is much easier.
Yeah.
Much easier.
Okay, back to Joey for the last couple. Upright Man is confused why Joey would struggle with John Coltrane's Giant Steps in down-tuned open C. He says Giant Steps is just a blues with extended 251s. You can basically just blow on the root mixolydian and call it a day. Well, I don't quite agree with that, Upright Man, but that's, you know...
You could. I think what he's talking about is playing it properly. I think he's talking about playing the actual notes that John Coltrane played, I think is what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to blow on the root mixolydian and call it a day, cool with us.
Yeah. I reckon if you just did mixolydian over that, yeah, I don't think I'd walk into Ronnie Scott's and go, hang on, guys. All right, Giant Steps, follow me. Here we go. Anyway, but hey. Great.
Yeah, each to their own.
Yep.
Let's leave the final thought this week to Steve Bees on a positive note, kind of semi-positive. Hello, Steve. He says, I have never heard so many amazing and inspiring tones in a single TPS video. Just so you know, I've just gone and chucked all of my gear off the balcony, Landreth, you toneful bastard.
Very great. Cheers, guys. Have a great week. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Cool.
Bye.